Texas is one of many US states in the middle of a devastating heat wave right now, which is incredibly dangerous. People lose their lives every year in situations like this. And if you're lucky enough to have air conditioning, you might be a little bit better off, but there's a wrinkle there that you might want to look into, and it has to do with smart thermostats. So the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, ERCOT, the group that got a lot of bad press during last winter for all of what happened in Texas there, has urged residents to do their part by raising the temperature on their thermostats. But several smart thermostats owners say their devices have been controlled remotely to conserve energy, leaving them in sweltering homes without a clue as to why. So you set it to a certain temperature, but remotely the company can actually change it to a higher temperature, sometimes a substantially higher temperature. And the reason is that you might have signed up without reading the fine print into a program that gave them the right to do that. Several residents in the Houston area said they'd unknowingly enrolled in a program called Smart Savers Texas as part of a promotion. The agreement states that in exchange for an entry into a sweepstakes, electric customers grant permission for the program's creator, Energy Hub, to control their thermostats during periods of high energy demand. And during those times, they can increase the temperature on participating thermostats by up to 4 degrees to reduce energy consumption and relieve stress on the grid. So I am assuming, Yasmin, that you have not experienced anything like this, but you're in the Houston area, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. I'm in Houston. This is like, I'm laughing. It's not funny, but it's such a ridiculous thing to have happened. First of all, we are in a heat wave, I guess, but 90 triple-digit temperatures in June, July, August, September are not unusual for Texans, right? I heard that we had a heat wave. I didn't even notice it. I just thought, oh, it's June, it's summertime, I heard on the news that I was in the middle of a heat wave, right? And then we started getting all these notifications on our phones that ERCOT wants us to start conserving energy. What were they saying? That we need to put our thermostats up to 82 during the nighttime. I don't know a single Texan who was on board with that. I don't know a single person who complied with any of that. And the thing is, we shouldn't have to, because consumer usage of the Texas power grid is not even its biggest sector, right? We're a smaller proportion of the total energy usage, right? If you need to cut the energy, cut it in all those empty office buildings that nobody's using anymore. Like, there's so many different options besides asking people in a heat wave to cut down to 82. Who can sleep in 82? Honestly, nobody. I'm always cold, and that's way too hot for me. And after what we saw in February, the whole idea was, oh, they're not used to the cold. This is unacceptable because we are used to the heat. And this is right before hurricane season, and here in Houston, that is. I'm not optimistic about what's going to happen this summer.
Yeah,
so that is
kind
of
a rough year.
Yeah.
82, like if it's 82, the system better not even be on. Like, it's being lowered to 82. That seems like an issue. And look, you're right. It might be that in some areas of Texas, it doesn't feel like the worst ever. But there are, like, in multiple cities, in Palm Springs and a number of other cities, records are actually being set right now for this time of the year. So that's bad. And 4 degrees, like when you say 4 degrees, it's like, oh, it's 4 degrees. That can be a significant difference. And bear in mind, some of these people are elderly. Like, people die because of these extremes in temperature. And I'm not saying that this program is necessarily going to kill people. But what I am saying is that the issues that Texas is experiencing, the issues that their energy grid are experiencing, this is not the fundamental solution to it. So they might say, look, we really need to do this, because if we don't do this, then the energy grid is going to go down, and 82 is going to look like, an Arctic vacation at that point. Maybe, but then actually do something about it. Use your power as an industry to get Texas politicians to do something, but they have such a cushy relationship. They don't actually want that. It's much easier to just put it onto the individual people when some sort of systemic solution to their energy grid is obviously what's needed, especially when all this abuse is to be entered into a sweepstakes, where like one person gets something or you get credited. Like in this one case in Philadelphia, you got $120 bill credit that they lowered to $40 afterward. $40 to potentially suffer multiple times per year during the worst heat waves. That doesn't seem like a great deal.
No, and something that I should point out is that these ERCOT board members do not live in Texas. So all these people are demanding that Texans do all these things, and they're not doing it themselves. They don't have to, they don't live here. And it's, you see similar issues in different sectors of, different issues around the country right now. So if you take the oil and gas industry, for example, I have to stop using plastic straws, but they're gonna keep producing them. They're gonna keep wrapping all these produce in unnecessary plastics and things like that. But I, as the consumer, I need to stop using straws, right?
Yeah.
So that's not the case, or that shouldn't be the case. That's not going to ever be the solution, especially when you're combating these much, much, much bigger forces with a ton of money and a ton of donors and a ton of people who are profiting off of, asking Texans to sleep in 82-degree heat. Yeah. And it is very unhealthy. I only live in Houston because I have AC, right? If I didn't have this here, it's just a swamp. We live in a swamp. Actually, exactly. We went to a wedding over the weekend, and it was up on the north side of Houston. And this one guy wasn't staying in the Airbnb with us. He had a hotel nearby. And after the wedding, everyone was not in great shape after the wedding, as you can imagine. And he texted the guys and he was like, "Hey, does your Airbnb have power?" We're like, "What?" "Yeah, we have power." His hotel just didn't have power, so he just drove home that night. Yeah, and so it's just weird. Like, things like that keep happening. I don't know if that's related to ERCOT, but we were just like, no, I don't know why you don't have power right now. And the hotel people had no excuses. So it's not practical. You can't stay in a place without air conditioning.
I agree. Yeah, and it was I didn't know that about the ERCOT, that they generally don't live in Texas, but wherever they are, I guarantee it ain't 82 degrees when they're sleeping. I feel confident in that.
Absolutely not.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.